Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. So in the last class, we are discussing about in the last class we discussed about common source amplifier with diode connector. So earlier, common source amplifier with resistive RD. The main problem with the resistance load is the fabrication of resistors is difficult and they will occupy more area in the silicon area. Okay. So that is the two problems. The two problems we are trying to overcome the two problems for that. So the next version is your CS amplifier with load is diode connected. And diode connected means if you take PMOS or NMOS device, if gate and drain are tied together, it works like a diode. Works like a diode. So in the last class, so we did some derivations regarding only so how much resistance or how much impedance the diode connected load will offer. Okay, with and without body. So this is the body effect. So whenever see this the gate and drain are joined like this. Gate and drain is joined like this. Then what happened? Yeah, whenever you join like this, the equivalent circuit is here. The equivalent circuit is here. So with the body effect. So this GMB is what? Gain with body effect. Sorry, transconductance with body. Yes. Okay. So this the VBS is voltage between the body and the source. So yeah. With this, how much impedance we got is approximately 1 by GM plus GM. 1 plus GM by GM. This is. So for doing of this, what kind of analysis we used? I generally use the Thevenin sequence resistance finding method we used. So whenever you are going to find the Thevenin sequence resistance or Norton equivalent resistance for a circuit, which is having both independent and dependent sources. Okay. So only independent sources there, then one kind of method you will use. But whenever you have both independent and dependent sources, so I think there is no equivalent resistance or impedance for the dependent sources. So that keep the dependent source as is and replace the independent sources with their independent impedances and apply a known voltage source from the outside and find the current. The ratio of the voltage and current is nothing but the impedance. So that kind of exercise we did here. So based on that, we got this is the impedance seen from the this here is the impedance available at this point. So this impedance is acting as the load. Clear? So this is now add this value to the circuit CS amplifier, then do the find the gain. It is yes. See CS now this is the CS amplifier. This is the CS amplifier. This is CS amplifier, and this is what diode connected NMOS transistor, which could be act as the what load. Am I correct? So for this diode connected load, okay, diode connected load. For this element, for this is the M1, this is M2. For this M2 element, already we did the exercise. How much resistance it can be offered? What is the resistance? 1 by GM plus GMB. This kind of this amount of resistance will be offered. Earlier, in common source with the load, RD is the value. RD is the value. So this is the external value which we will take. Now, see in CS with the resistive load gain equation. This is the what is this one? This one same equation you derived for the CS with load. What is the gain there? Minus GM into RD. This is what is the RD value? Load resistance value. This RD should be replaced with what is that value? This value. Just we derived. Substitute in place of RD 1 by GM plus GMB. Got my point or not? Since there are two elements, one is the M1, one more is the M2. The first element components should be write 1. For the second element components, write the 2. So that GM means this is the first element, so that GM1. Yeah. And for the second one, this is the second element. Second element is top element. So 1 by GM2 plus GMB2. Accept or not? Yes. So now this GM1 is multiplied with this one, so that I can write this as GM1 by GM2 by into 1 by 1 plus neta. I can write like this. The neta is nothing but GMB2 GM2. Okay. If you take this, okay, multiply this and divide, multiply this, then you will get this one. Okay. So otherwise you can do so multiply and divide with the GMB2, GM2. Then you will get like this. So then this equation, whatever the minus GM1 is multiplied by with 1 by GM2 plus GMB2. This you can write like this, GM1 by GM2 into 1 by 1 plus neta. Here neta is nothing but this much. Okay. So now GM value. What is the GM value? Square root of 2 UN COX W by L into ID. This is the GM value, transconductance value. Okay. GM1 means here in this equation, GM1 means first M1 transconductance. GM2 means M2 transconductance. So that I can replace GM1 with this equation and I will write this as 1 W by L 1 ID 1. Understand? For the second one, GM2 is nothing but second device. So that same equation you can write with the subscripts of 2. So and 1 by 1 plus neta should be asterisk. Since both the devices are in the series, whatever the current is flowing in the M2, the same current is flowing in the M1. So that this current I told I2, ID2, this is ID1. So that equate both the transistors. Since ID1 is equal to ID2. What happened? So this 2 UN, COX can cancel. This is cancelled. And these two are cancelled. ID1, ID2 cancelled. Remains is this fellow. And this is the voltage gain formula. So this The exercise is the analysis or derivation of this voltage gain for the CS stage with diode connected load is simple because already for the load we calculated everything. Okay, already what is the impedance offered by this fellow? Already we derived, so that job becomes easy. Okay, so now I hope you understand. This is the same equation earlier we derived for the CS with RD load. Then in place of load value, substitute this value. Okay, the impedance already calculated like for the second transistor or the upper transistor because it acts as a diode. So you did the analysis. So then you got, so the impedance of that diode connected device is 1 by GM plus GMB. Now substitute this value in the RD place. Then, so for clarity, for not confusing, whatever. So for the first device, write the 1, and for the second device, write the 2. Add the 2. Okay, for each parameter. So then you got GM 1 by GM2 into 1 by 1 plus theta. GM formula, we have 3 different formulas in the first module we derived. Okay, so for one equation is mu n COX 1 by 2 mu n COX W by L into VGS minus VTH. And one more is this one, square root of 2 into mu n COX W by L into ID. And third one is ID by something. So like that, 3 different equations we already derived. Out of that, I took this one. So for the GM1 place, write one equation, GM2 place, write one more equation. Since the 2 elements are connected in the series, whatever the current is flowing from the flows in the second device, the same current will flow in the first device also. So that since ID1 and ID2 both are same, cancel the common terms, then you have remains only minus square root of W by L of 1 first device transistor into by W by L of second device into 1 by 1 plus. What is the W by L? Aspect ratio with 2 length ratio. Okay, with 2 length ratio of the each device. Geometrical what dimensions of the device. Okay, understand? Yes. This equation, yeah, this is for the what? This is for the what? This is the final equation of the gain for the this circuit. Okay, for this circuit. Okay, what is the problem? What is the transfer? What is the problem? Or first we will discuss about one more thing. So this is what type of load? Diode connected load. Which element you have considered? NMOS. Why don't you substitute here or replace this with the PMOS device? Yes, you can do. This is NMOS device. Why don't you can use the PMOS device here. Okay. In PMOS also or NMOS also, you are saying about diode connected. For to make it as diode connected or to make it as a diode, what to do? Gate and drain should be joined. So with this, so this is my PMOS load. This is the gate, this is the drain. These two are joined. So okay, for this, what is the gain equation? Earlier for NMOS, both are NMOS devices. This is this much you got. For this circuit, you got this is the gain equation. Simple thing, what? What's your name? So so this is the gain equation. Don't confuse. Very simple one. This is the NMOS diode connected load. Now in this place, okay, I want to replace this with the PMOS diode connected. So with this, I will take the same gain equation, but here the same equation you can write. This everything is same. Everything is same. No change. But in place of GM2, because of it is a PMOS device, you can write 2 into mu p. 2 into mu p. COX W by L into this one. Again, same ID1, ID2 are same. 2 get cancelled, COX will cancel, ID cancel. Then what remains? Mu n by mu p into this one remains. So that this is the equation now. So mu AB is equal to minus square root of mu n W by L1 by mu p into W by L into L2. Okay. Here is 1 by 1 plus meter. I hope you understand. Very simple change, because this one, whatever the equation you have already, with this equation, simple modification is required because of the PMOS device. So I think mobility of the force should be taken considered. Okay. So the this equation reveals that an interesting point. What equation? The earlier equation, gain equation of. So what is that? Two things we can observe. If the variations of neta with the output voltage is neglected, okay, variation of the neta to output voltage variation neglected means 1 by 1 plus neta is there. If you remove that term, you will get this for this one. The gain is, suppose if you do like that, what happened? The gain is independent of the bias currents and voltages, because purely depends on the device geometry. Earlier, your gain depends on the input voltage, change in input voltage in RD, in diode load, sorry, resistive load. So that, but here if you see, so suppose if you assume that lambda value is, the data value is for high, okay, then you can neglect it for less low, so very small, then you can neglect it, then 1 by 1 remains. Okay, in the earlier equation, 1 by 1 plus neta is there. If neta is very small, then you can neglect, and less than 1, then you can neglect it, 1 by 1 remains. Okay, and other factors as it is, that is the square root of minus square root of W by L of the gain is not depends on any voltages, biasing voltage. That means what is the meaning of biasing voltage? VDD, Vin, the biases. It is purely depends on the geometry, ratio of the devices, device geometry, W by L ratio. So the gain is independent of the bias currents and voltages, so long as M1 stays in the saturation. Yeah, M1 should be saturation for that condition. In other words, as the input and output signals levels vary, the gain remains relatively constant, so that the input output characteristics is relatively linear. So earlier we got non-linear characteristics. For the CS with RD low, we got the non-linear characteristics. Means current terms are there, but here we got the linear equation. So that what is your output and input characteristics are so linear, and moreover, the gain is constant for the variation of the signals. Earlier, the signals, the input is varies, gain will vary, because the equation is in such a way that. Okay, so where already you know that the AB is equal to minus GM into RD. GM value is there, you can write what? 1 by 2 mu n COX W by L into V in minus VTH. So whenever the input changes, the gain will change. But here not the case. So those terms already cancelled. So final purely there is a device geometry is there. So if the device geometry changes, gain will change. Otherwise, it won't change. Yeah. So anyhow, in this for doing of this exercise, we are neglecting the channel length modulation. The channel length modulation is added, then 1 plus lambda VDS term will add. So let us say, if there is no channel length modulation, whatever the equation you consider for the, including the channel length modulation, for any current equation, GM equation, whatever make it. For GM equation, what is the, what I told you, 1 by 2, VNCY, 1 by 2, VNCY W by L into V minus VTH, that is the GM equation. without channel length modulation. If you take the channel length modulation, what happened? So extra one term will come, that is 1 plus lambda VDS. Okay, if lambda value is 0, lambda value 0 means there is no channel length modulation. Then same thing you will get. Vn Cmax W by L to Vn minus Vth. Okay, so that if the lambda value is neglected, means channel length modulation is neglected, then this is correct. You understand? This is the diode connected load. Okay, so NMOS, this is the final expression. This is for PMOS, this is the final expression. PMOS load. So, what is the drawback? We'll see first of all characteristics, then we'll talk about the drawback. So, this is the characteristics of this diode connected load. Earlier, with resistor connected load, you got something like this. Like this is VTH, this is the V1, like this V11, V in 1, yes, VTH, you got like this. There is a point A here. Now, for this diode connected load, you got this type of characteristics into output, input to output characteristics. So, what will you understand from this one? First of all, see this portion. This becomes a linear. Earlier, this portion becomes non-linear. Now it is linear. See, and moreover, yeah, it's fine. It's a linear. What is the problem? So this one, I think in the UC, we studied about different types of inverters or different types of pull-up methods. NMOS inverter with resistor load, NMOS inverter with depletion load, NMOS inverter with saturated load. Okay, so the NMOS inverter with unsaturated load, PMOS like that. Means in the NMOS inverter, the load component may be a depletion transistor or enhancement transistor instead of the resistor, because resistor has so many disadvantages, so that almost the designers are trying to not to include the resistor values in the design in their designs. That time, but sometimes we cannot neglect. Sometimes there is no alternation, then we should keep it as is. If any alternation is there, then replace the resistor with the alternator device, because of the to avoid the what fabrication issues. Okay, now, so there, when the depletion load is added, when the depletion or enhancement load is added, so what is the problem? Means you can recall it to the voltage swing. So means earlier, so same exercise, same process we have seen for the CS with RD load, where whenever the input is 0, okay, there is no current is flowing in the device. So that output voltage formula is output is equal to VDD minus RD into ID. Since the bottom device is off, M1 is off, there is no current in the device, so that ID is 0. So in this equation, V out is equal to VDD minus 0. So output is complete VDD we get. Okay, so means you got the full voltage for the 0 input. So you got the full output, right? That's called the voltage swing. Full voltage swing you got. But here, so because of the output is, whenever the input is 0, output is not full VDD. VDD minus, what is the upper device? Again, a transistor. Whose threshold value? So VTH2. So means, suppose VDD's value is 5 volts, VTH value is 2.8 volts, then what is the output value? 5 minus 0.8 is how much? 4.2. Means you didn't get the full voltage value. This is the disadvantage. You cannot get the full voltage switch because of the upper device is also one transistor that also having some, what is it for? Threshold voltage drop. So that what happened? Your voltage level will be somehow lower than you expect. That is called the what? Voltage swing issue. Voltage swing issue. At the output, you did not get the full voltage swings for the input. Understand? So that is the what. So here is see, you can see exactly. So output is whenever the input is 0 or lower value or less than VTH1. Okay. So I think M1 device is off, but at the time output is not exactly VDD. It is somehow less than the what? Some amount of, what is it one? Less than threshold voltage of the after device. Okay. That is the first problem. So that will be, you can find, you can get the any time whenever you are using as a device. So that's why actually in the UC you studied that inverter. So with the resistive load, depletion load, saturation load, then CMOS inverter. So in the CMOS inverter, this problem can be avoided. Okay. If you use the NMOS inverter means NMOS devices. Okay, this is NMOS amplifier, CS amplifier and NMOS. Okay, N type. Suppose if you use the P type, then you will get the voltage swing problem at the 0 level, lower side. Here is upper side you got. So for PMOS, you will get the lower side problem. But problem is, definitely we get either upper side or lower side. Upper side means at VDD level or 0 level. Lower side means 0 level. You will get definitely problem. So that's why CMOS inverter or CMOS circuits will consider for avoiding this type of errors. So in the CMOS circuit, you will get the full voltage swing because of, so there is no question of two devices on at the same time. But here, since both the devices are there, okay. So at any time, at sometimes both the devices will on. Whenever both the devices are on in saturation, then what happened? There is the supply VDD and ground, they are connected. Whenever they connected, so your voltage will be dropped. That is called the voltage. Okay. See, so after this one, you can write this one. This is what? GM1 is equal to, sorry, current equation. This is the ID1. ID1 is the ID2. So drain current in the first device, this is drain current of the second device. ID1, you told you approximation, I told you the approximation is the this one. Since ID1 is good ID2. What is ID1? ID1 means first device current. Whenever it is in saturation. ID2 means second device current. Whenever it is in saturation. For the saturation current equations, you know, that is 1/2 VL by L into V in minus VTH whole square. Similarly, that side, that is the second device, 1/2 VL by L into VDD minus V out minus VTH2. So why it is? Here is V in. Supply is given for this one is V in. First device. For the second device is input is what? VDD minus V out. Because drain and gate are shorted. Drain and drain are shorted. So that output of this one, what is the amount of input is applied for the upper device is what? VDD minus V out minus VTH2. So now these terms will cancel. Okay. So that remains. Then squaring both sides or apply the root both sides. Then root will come to here and root square will be cancelled here and here. Okay. So finally, you got this equation. Later, if the variation of VTH2 variation, the shown voltage of the second device M2 variation with VOT is very small because in brackets both are there. If I am talking about the V2 variation, VTH variation with respect to the VOT is very small, then the circuit will exhibit the linear relations, linear characteristics. Otherwise, it will show the non-linear characteristics. Okay, and one more thing, pairing function performed by M1. M1 is the lower device. Okay, squaring function. Squaring function is generally the current equation is coming like this with squaring function. Okay. So the squaring function performed by M1. M1, what is performed? The input voltage will be converted into the drain current. And the square root function. Square root function is these are the square root functions. Square root functions performed by M2. Okay. From its drain current to override. Act as F inverse of F is equal to X. F inverse of Fx. F inverse of Fx is equal to X. This is called the mapping. Based on that, I will modify this equation. The small signal gain can also be computed by differentiating both sides with respect to the V. Take this equation. Okay. So now differentiate the both sides with respect to the V. Then what happened? So this is constant. Okay, leave it. And this term should be differentiated with respect to V in, means this becomes 1. This becomes dou VTH1 by dou VU. Am I correct? Dou VU. Similarly, this side also same thing you get. So then after rewriting the equations, then so you will get W by L, square root of W by L of the M1 is equal to square root of W by L2 of the M2. So it's multiplied with the, see these terms already differentiated. So what remains finally? Minus D V out by D dou V in minus dou VTH2 by dou V in. These terms will be remains. Okay. So this is one, this is the dou VTH1. Okay. So and this is the VTH2. So then chain rule. What is the chain rule? So you can write this one. You can write this term. It's like this. So means the change in VTH2 with respect to the V in, you can write VTH2 by V out into V out by V in. Okay. If you cancel these two, same thing will remain. This is called the chain rule. I can write this value. This is okay. This expression as like this. What? So keep this as it is, and assume this as eta. Okay. Then from this, after substitution of this one, substitute this one in the previous equation. Here, substitute in this place. Okay. Then what happened? You will get, so change in output by change in input is equal to this one. What is this one? AV, voltage gain. AV is equal to, what is the answer? Minus square root of W by L 1, W by 2, L, so 2, L2, so into 1 by 1 plus beta. I think this equation and earlier, so this equation both are same. So this is the equation derived through this one method. Now this is the equation, the gain equation you computed from the currents. Then substitute here, then replace this one with the something, with the chain rule. Then you got this. This is the same gain equation for the common source diode. Here is one important thing is there here. You can read it. So in a sense, a high gain requires strong input device and weak load device. Suppose if you want the high gain, if you want the more gain, it means large gain, then what is required? Strong input device is required. And it should be less. Strong means W by L ratio of the device should be high. Strong and weak means the aspect ratio of the device should be if it's more, it's strong device. If it is less, it is a weak device. Okay. So, and one more thing is suppose if you take an example, if you want an example, suppose AV voltage gain is equal to 5. Right. Okay. And suppose this is 5 means for the PMOS load. What is the formula? What is the formula? Mu n. So second device. Okay. Whose square root is equal to AV. Am I correct? Okay. This AV value is 5 means mu n. So W by L of 1. So mu P W by L of 2 is equal to 25. Am I correct? 25. Here in both sides. So mu n value should be 2.5. Okay, or 2 times mu p. The speed of electrons are twice of the volts. Okay. Then if you substitute this one, then you will get W by, substitute this values here, then W by L 1 is equal to, so 12.5 W by L of 2. From this equation, which device is stronger, which device is weak? A device stronger, A device weak. Device strong అంటే ఏంటి? W by L values ఎక్కువ ఉండాలి. Device weak అంటే W by L value తక్కువ ఉండాలి. W by L of 1 is equal to 12.5 times the W by L of the second device. So which device is strong, which device is weak? M1 is strong, M2 is weak. So that is actually the statement I already passed to you. To get the more gain, what to do? Load should be weak, driver should be strong. Okay. Next one. Suppose if it is a PMOS, so PMOS load already the circuit, same circuit you consider, then what happened? In PMOS, so ID1, PMOS load, if you consider PMOS load, ID1 is equal to ID2. Of course, in the PMOS, you should write the mod because we don't know the magnitude. Sometimes it may be negative value because the already, not sometimes, already you know the diode current equation. For NMOS, the current equation is positive. For PMOS, it is negative. So that I took the mod here. So what is the ID1 formula? So mu n COX. So W by L. So VGS1 minus VTH1 or square. So that is equal to second case, this current mu P COX W by L into of M2. Next, So what is that one? Mu n COX W by L VGS1 minus VTH1 square is equal to mu P COX. So W by L second device, and here is the VGS2 minus VTH2. The two currents are equated. Two currents are equated. So now, this is the case whenever you are not testing any channel modulation. If channel modulation is not there, lambda value is 0. So now, yeah, VG S2 minus VTH2 mod by, so VGS1 minus VTH1. This is equal to A. So what is this? Is the numerator denominator VGS minus VTH is nothing but accessible. Our overdrive potential. Overdrive potential. VGS minus VTH is overdrive potential. Overdrive potential. Okay. So from this equation you can say for high gain, suppose if you want more gain, this fellow value is more, the numerator should be more. Okay. What is the numerator? Second device, overdrive potential. Second device, overdrive potential. What is second device? M2. I think in this case, PMOS device. So that to get the high current, high gain, so the condition is M2 should be 5 times more. 5 times more than the M1. Which one? Drive potential. Overdrive potential VGS minus VTH value of the M2 should be 5 times more than the VGS1 minus VTH1. Then right? So VGS2 minus VTH2 should be approximately equal to 5 times this value. So from the equation itself, you can say that means to make it the high gain, AV is the high gain. Okay. What to do? The numerator should be higher than the denominator. So that this is the condition. So with all this, what is my conclusion is, with the diode connected loads, the swing is already I told you the swing is output voltage levels. They are not good. They are not up to the mark. So we can continue by both overdrive voltage and threshold voltage. So they are depends on these fellows, threshold voltage and the overdrive voltages. So that for a small overdrive voltage, the output voltage level cannot exceed VDD minus VTH. I think in the characteristic curve we already see that for input value 0, you got the output is VDD minus VTH2. In the graph I told you. Yeah, this is. So that, so now GM is equal to what is formula? GM is equal to UN COX UN COX, so W by L VGS minus VTH. This is. Okay, now already you derived the formula for the voltage gain. You got how much? Whenever lambda theta value is visible, there is a GM1 by GM2. AV is equal to, so GM1 by GM2. What? So GM1 value you can substitute like this, GM2 value substitute like this. Then finally you got your AV voltage gain is proportional to the 1 by what? The mod of overdrive potential. Overdrive potential. This is, and this is the only CS amplifier with the so whenever so yeah, so that is over. What is the drawback with this one is, first one, diode load is what? So the resistor load is more area. Second, with diode load is, diode connected load is voltage swings. The third one is the CS with the current source. Okay. First one, resistor load. Second one is also resistor load. To make it as a constant resistance, to make it as a the diode is current, sorry, the device is as a diode. Now, both the devices, so the first one and second case, both the cases, okay, they follow the Ohm's law. Ohm's law means what? So across the diode or the load, the voltage is, that means what is the voltage the Ohm's law? So voltage drop will be increases when the current is increases or the R value is increases. Okay, V is equal to Ri. Either resistance increase or current is increased. But so if you want to more drop, more resistance is required. Okay, more drop, more resistance is required. So that is the that means they are following the Ohm's law. So now my wish is not to follow the, means in place of diode or the resistance, we'll keep a current source, constant current source. So constant current source means it will flow always a fixed amount of the current. Okay. See here is, in applications required a large voltage gain in the single stage. Relation is, this is the value, you know, gain formula. Suggests that we should increase the load impedance of the suggestions. For what? To get the more gain. In this, from this equation, if you want to increase AV, RD must be more. RD must be more. So with the resistor or diode connected load, however, increasing the load resistance, which translates to a large DC drop across the load. Okay. So what happened if RD is increases? If RD is increases, you said AV is increases, but your output voltage decreases. Output voltage formed by VDD minus RD into ID. If ID increases, RD increases, the drop is decreases. Then what happened? V out decreases. Then you will get the what? Voltage swing part. Voltage. That is the main issue. So that what to do? Yeah, it is there. So that limits the voltage drop, thereby limiting the voltage swing. So that a more practical approach is to replace the load with the device that does not obey the Ohm's law. The earlier two circuits will depends on the Ohm's law, but now what are the circuit we are going to do? So that should not be follow the Ohm's law. Okay, according to the Ohm's law, when the RD is more, drop will be more, output will be less. Or left hand side component will be low. So now, so describe it, okay. So now in place of common source amplifier with RD load, okay, with RD load, 3.3 is the circuit. Okay. So resonance circuit is this one. This is my. is the M1 as it is. This is the load now. This is what common source. So why VB is there? Yes, VB is sufficiently connected to make this M2 is always in saturation. In the saturation, the current is constant. Our job is, this is the next circuit, CS with the current source load, where this NMOS device, okay, gate is connected to the fixed bias voltage, VB. This voltage is in such a way, the value of this voltage in such a way to keep this transistor always in saturation. Okay, understand? M2 is always in saturation. Okay. So the equivalent circuit of this fellow is this. This is equivalent circuit. This is this. This is. Understand? This is the equivalent circuit. Now, yes, the key point here is that the output difference and the minimum required VDS2 of M2 are less strongly coupled than the value and the voltage drop of the resistor. The meaning is very simple. Here, so for this circuit, for this element, what is the voltage drop? Whenever it is in saturation, okay. So between the drain and source, there is a minimum voltage. That is the VDS saturation. VDS saturation. So even though you are increasing this value, suppose the resistance value of this fellow, whatever the resistance offered by this fellow, even though you are increasing, no problem, because the voltage drop is fixed. You will not get any voltage swing problem. Earlier, okay, to get the high gain, RT is increased. If the RT increases, the drop across the resistor will increase. Thereby, voltage swing problem will face. The voltage swing problem. Okay. But here, because it is a transistor, it is operating in saturation. Whenever in saturation, between the drain and source, a small saturation voltage will be. So there is no more than that voltage. So that your output voltage is not affected by this drop. Understand? Yes. So there is a M2. See here. So output impedance and the minimum required VDS of M2 are less strongly coupled than the value and voltage drop of a resistor. The former need not to satisfy the Ohm's law, but the latter must. The voltage VDS2 minimum is equal to VGS2 minus VTH2. So VGS2 means the gate and source. So this is the VGS2 minus VTH device threshold can be reduced to less than 100 millivolts by simply increasing the width of the M. So by increasing the width of this M2, the voltage drop, this VDS2 means this value can be reduced to the 500 millivolts, means 0.5. 0.5, that's what. Okay. So if R02 is not sufficiently high, the length of the M can be increased to achieve the smaller lambda while maintaining the same power drive voltage. The penalty is the large capacity substitution by M2 at the output. The meanings, what is the meaning? R02. In the earlier, we know R0. R0 is the device output resistance. Small R0. Small RG. Okay, R1. Sorry. So now, If R02 means M2 output resistance. M2 output resistance is not strongly high. Not strong, it's not high. If not high, your gain will be less. Okay, to get more gain, it should be high. Okay, how to increase the R0? Very simple. If W is more, automatically resistance will more. If a device width is more, resistance will be more. So that is what he wrote like that. If R02 is not high, do one thing, increase the M2 value. Increase the M2 means M2 what value? W value, not L value. Increase the W value, W of M2. What happened? Whenever it is increasing the W, I think lambda becomes small. There is no channel modulation. This is the, and there is no overdrive problem. But here is one problem is there. That is what. See, the two cases we have problems. In this case also, you can have a variable resistance or not. By that, you can increase the gain. To increase the resistance, output resistance of the circuit of the device, you can increase the width of the device, the corresponding device. But the problem is what? Everything is fine, but whenever the width is more, capacitance value is more. That is the problem. So each layer, each two layers will offer some capacitance value. So whenever W is width of a layer is more, area becomes more, capacitance value becomes more. That is the problem. So that the capacitance at this output load here at this point. So the capacitance value, the parasitic capacitance, this value becomes more and more. More and more. Because of W sizing. Okay. So this is the equivalent circuit of this fellow. Then this value, this is what? One PMOS transistor, which can be replaced by a constant resistor. Understand? R02. And this output we are looking. So this R02 value should be more because your gain is depends on this R02. So how to improve this R02 values? By improving the width of the device. So what is the consequence or the issue with the increasing of the device width is capacitance will be understand? First, CS with load resistance, CS with diode. This is CS with the current source. Current source. So now you can ask any doubts. Ask doubts. No? Any doubts?